Okay, this swing, we're going to focus on the setup, the implications. Setup is very important because golf, only sport you play where the ball is stationary on the ground, and how you position yourself relative to the ball is really important because you'll adapt to wherever the ball is. So not only position where it is front, back, like towards the left foot or right foot or center, but also distance from the ball um, is really, really critical when you go, how far away you are here. So two things really I focus on with people that the setup helps happen during the swing is, one is you're trying to get power, so you need contributions from the ground and the lower body. So you want to be able to move the lower body actively. And particularly in the downswing, you want to be able to shift the hips towards the target and open them. So you're clearing them out towards the target. So that's really important. And the other one is the swing path, so you get the swing path correct. So that the lower body is clearing out of the way so the arms have room to swing from the inside. So I'm going to go over a couple of major issues that I see repeatedly over and over in lessons. And one, you can see on the right would be what I would advocate, the look to be, and the one on the left is typical. Very common problem is I put a line up through the ball here. I try to get the ball right off the left shoulder with the driver. Now the iron, like a 5-iron, would be off where my logo would be here. It would move back slightly to here. So that'd be like a 5-iron right there. And then a 9-iron would be a little more back. So it'd be about off the left here. So it'd be a 9-iron. And traditionally you'll narrow the stance a little bit. I wrote an article on my website to go along with this that gives you distances for the ball position, etc. Now common over here is most people place the ball too far back in the stance. That contributes to more of an arm dominant swing. You can see a couple of things here. You try to get a nice tilt from the shoulders. The left arm hangs more down by the left leg, and the right arm reaches forward to grab the club by the left leg. That creates that triangle over by the left. That helps you to get the hands more forward at impact. You can see here it's going to give me the tendency to get my arms and hands more over to the left at impact. Okay, so the other one here, you can see how the shoulders are more level and the arms are reaching back this direction. That's to accommodate the ball position. So I'm going to make very little contribution, or not as much contribution, in the lower body. So if I go, let's go to here and go back in the backswing. So as I said, one of the main things is with the ball being a little more forward in my stance, I have a little more reason to go and get it. So you can see how my hips, aren't over here to the right enough because I had the ball back. So if you look at the difference, so if you look at this swing over here that I've got the cursor around, you can see from the right hip in transition as I go through the swing over here, you can see how that is starting to shift towards the target while the club's still going back. Very critical right there in the swing. And having the ball more in front allows that to happen. So you can see, if I go over here and show you this one, you can see very little contribution from the lower body. So that's going to be a weak, more arm swing like that. You even go back to the setup. See how the right foot, you'll see a lot of people flare that right foot out, whereas this one's more straight ahead, where it gives me more inclination to push this way. See, I'm going to push off the ground in that direction that I'm drawing the arrow. And by pushing that, it's going to push that hip forward this way. But with this foot being flared out, there's nothing to push off of. And that's why when you get back here, you don't see much of a push compared to what you see on the other side. So really important to get that part of the setup right, the position of the ball, so it's good. And so it's not really an arm dominant swing. Now when you go to the other view, very common, many times done on purpose, is people will pull this right foot back to keep from slicing. Well, typically what that's going to do is take the club way to the inside. You can see that's the backswing path, what it should be. So if you watch this path of the club, because my stance is closed, you can see how far in the club is off of that line right there, way inside. Okay, and I go over here on the backswing path, you'll see this club, it'll follow that line a lot better. And that's because simply from setup, I've got my feet here slightly, because the left foot's turned out, it's a little bit back. Whereas over here, the right foot's pulled way back. And again, when you come down in the downswing, it's not going to allow your hips enough to clear out like here we are in the downswing, right here. You can see the legs have squared back up. Here I can still see the left leg. So the hips have got to clear out so that the club can come down from the inside. You can see how the club's more outside. So you're trying to get your legs squared up here to the target. You're trying to get your legs squared up to the target so that the lower body is opening to the target instead of your lower body being closed, and then the upper body's got to bring the club into the ball. It's going to bring it in a lot more from the outside instead of this one staying back to the inside more. So really important thing for your setup to get your feet, legs, and hips square, if not a little bit open to the target. So really, you're trying to get the contribution, the clearing out of the lower body here, that to clear, so your hips aren't aimed way out to the right like that, and they're blocking a way for the club to come down, so the upper body will come more around from the outside, creating a slice. So good setup position with your alignment, good setup position over here with the ball position and the hands forward, so the left side's higher than the right. Right foot turned in. You'll actually notice the knee, because I reach forward to get the club, the knee has a little bit of inward angle this direction right there from the setup. So those are important points: ball position, arm position more forward, tilt with the shoulder, right kicked in a little bit. That's setting the lower body up to lead the downswing. Then back here, setting your stance more square to barely open, so that your hips can square lead in the downswing, so that your hips are leading, hips are opening, shoulders are more closed, rather than the shoulders opening and the hips being closed. Less room to swing down from the inside. So those are points you want to remember, key issues in your setup position that contribute to what you're going to do in the swing.